Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, thank you everybody for attending. Tonight is a regular monthly meeting of the Clinton Inland Wetlands. It's Tuesday, January 7th. Time is 7:03. Everything's all.
Larry Edwards,
Here.
Edward Alberino,
Here.
Michael Florio,
Here.
Thomas Welch,
Here.
Bertram Schmitz. Ryan Cardozo has resigned, so his position is vacant. Scott Harley,
Here.
Robert Corson,
Here.
Chris Horvath,
Here.
Douglas Elliott.
Here.
I think we had this once before. I can't get somebody for a vacant spot.
No, you do not.
So we're only voting with. I forgot. It needs to be a person in the spot for me to replace. If it's vacant. I can. All right, couple housekeeping items. We need to review and approve the minutes of the regular monthly meeting from December 3rd.
I can make a motion to approve minutes.
Got a second? Second. Okay. Any discussion? All those voting in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstain? Motion carries. And then, for those of you that want any sidewalks, this was a special meeting at 9 Van Dyke Lane. It was from December 14th. No edits to those minutes. Take a motion to approve.
So moved.
With the motion.
Who moved? Eddie.
Motion. Second. Do I have a second? Second. Tom seconds. Any discussion? Those voting in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed or abstain? Motion carries. On to item agenda number 3, receipt of applications. So there's one. It's going to be IWC 25-1, 3 Hunters Ridge. Jeff Mastriani is the applicant. Jeffrey D. and Shelley P. Mastriani are the owners. It's for an application for an as-of-right determination for a farm or barn. Assessors map 76, block 56, lot 59-2, and zone number 60. And they are seeking from us an exemption. I'll pull up what section.
I think it's okay, I spoke with Jeff today, he's not happy because he's not resigned tonight, so I told him I would just introduce the application. He has property in Hunters Ridge, he was doing some cutting out there in a barn, and I heard about it, so I went out to his property to talk to him. And he said that he actually wanted to get farm status from the Planning and Zoning Commission and first come here for as of right activity. He's looking for the right determination because he wants to have livestock and believes that the farm is part of the agricultural use. So we just need to set a sidewalk and you guys can listen to that. And he said he's very flexible.
So if they want like an as of right determination, do they actually have to submit an application?
You guys have to make that determination.
Well, we've done it before,
No, it's always gone to the commission.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but like I believe we made a determination that it is an as of right and doesn't require an application.
He's got
right?
plenty of acres.
Well, the thing is, he did the cutting and he did the farm. So I mean, if you guys want to put it as of right, that's fine, but I wanted to be option.
Yeah.
Up to you, however you'd like to handle it.
So let me, I'll bring up our.
I believe you have to do, you have to do it as for each application.
So you make them pay the application fee, submit, and then.
It's a different fee for as of right, it's not a full
Oh, okay, it's
application.
not.
No.
But do we really necessarily need to do a site visit for as of right? Like, can you, on our behalf,
If you,
say this is a farm and operation?
yeah, if you want to make a motion to that effect, I'll do it with that.
All right, so let me just bring up our regulations.
I mean, I'm gonna give you guys the option. Like, I know with the deeper deceivers, you guys kind of made a blanket motion that if those types of activities. But this one is for, like I said, they're gonna be getting some cameras. It makes this the special exception from the zoning, so he's going on that as well.
So under section 4, permitted uses as of right and non-regulated uses, it says, the following operations and uses shall be permitted in inland wetlands and water courses as of right. And it says grazing, farming, nurseries, gardening, harvesting and crops, farm ponds. And what is he looking for?
So he had done some cutting out the property and then put up a barn. And, so he wants to turn it into an agricultural, operation. So he's going to claim zoning for special exception use. And then because. You know,
So he doesn't have the determination yet that it is a farm.
he's going, but the reason he's coming here first is because of the cutting and boarding.
So it's after the fact.
Okay. Wouldn't he want to go to zoning first, say he's a farm, then come back to us and say he's allowed to do it?
Usually
Is
we
it
do
right?
wetlands, that's why, but,
I know, it's backwards.
yeah. So
Um,
that's why I wanted to look at it. I didn't want to make that
Yeah, there's a zoning regulation that says if wetlands are involved, they have to go to wetlands.
so what happens if we say, okay, it's an as of right, he's a farm, then he goes to planning and zoning and it's not a farm?
It's been a farm for a long time.
No, not at, 300 Ridge, because I talked to Judge Kelly, that's what he wants to do is turn. He wants to get some livestock out, but he wanted goats and horses.
So now,
It's almost.
so does he have like a corrective action because
Well, the thing is, instead of going that way, because I talked to him about that, he wants to come here, because it wasn't right, then it's okay. Because the cuttings were pasture, and the barn is part of that.
but we can't grant him an as of right if his property isn't zoned for farming and agriculture, right? Or is it?
It's kind of a chicken and egg situation. Because usually the wetlands are first, and as he wants to produce himself on the property, but he's there. So he wanted to provide the as right to determination. Then go to planning and zoning.
Is there wetlands that you were out there? Was the wetlands showing up?
Yeah, I haven't.
Well, we can't say that is, what tells us whether the property is farmed or not? That's a zoning, right? What is it zoned a certain way, farming?
So right now it's zoned in an R, I think it's an R60 or R80. So what he, like I said, what he wants to do.
R60.
Yeah, I can tell him to go to planning and zoning.
How many
Yeah,
acres does he
right,
have?
it's a lot, it's like, yeah.
Okay, he's got wetlands around it.
He has wetlands on the property, he hasn't delineated by a professional soil scientist.
I would say it's to approve it through. and let it go through the zone.
Okay.
That's what I'd say is like zoning, determine it's a farm, then come back to us, and if it is a farm, he falls under our.
Okay.
Right.
I can do that.
That's
That's the part where you
They
go.
can't.
Because if we say, okay, it's a farm, and he's just planning, you guys say, no, you can't put a farm there, then we allow them to do something that doesn't make it.
Absolutely.
So can we?
We're,
Yeah, because it's,
Does your-
I think the thing is, it was an activity in wetlands that was done without permitting. But if it has that has a great determination on it. Because the.
but still, the commission has to make that decision.
So,
Wetlands, you kind of want to zone them, you know?
well, he was gonna come here first. And that's usually when we work it, it's usually.
Usually
Yeah,
it's
wetlands, that.
Yeah.
If the zoning need to be changed, can I get?
He's had to go through and get a use change,
Is that likely something we can
You've seen the property, you know, it's very likely, because you've been out there, obviously.
yeah, I don't see any issues, but I don't know.
I don't think there's any issues out there about it, so.
You can't vote on it tonight anyway. Because you have to allow the 15 days for
Yeah. I don't-
public
I don't-
petition.
Yeah.
Talking here, so.
So could we
Accept it and
accept
table.
the application, let it sit, wait till he gets zoning approval, then act?
Right here.
How long is zoning approval gonna take?
Well, that's the problem, is the clock starts ticking. Why don't I,
Just one conversation.
yeah, because the thing is that the clock starts ticking in order to go planning and zoning, he has to apply and have it received, and then they have to actually, the time period is going
We're a
to be
month.
issued.
So
Yeah.
can we not accept the application tonight? What are our options?
So then she's worried about having a major violation, is what she said.
I mean, you can make the violations and then pull your violation once it gets, so we're just not act on your violation. I don't think we as a commission can call it an as of right if his property's not zoned.
Well, it's
As a farm.
agricultural use, even though it's not a farm, the regulation means it's agricultural use.
It's permitted use in that
I
zone.
think it's permitted.
If you've been out there,
It's
Let's say farming.
But it doesn't say it has to be a farming use.
It's my garden on back of farm.
No. This is such a like.
Yeah.
I just,
Because
I
of
mean,
the-
I think the,
I'm trying to.
I think the easiest,
Facilitate this whole
All right,
thing.
we-
I think the thing,
if you've been out there, it's being used as a farm kind of really, as it is now, even though he doesn't have the determination of the town. It's horses, it's chickens, it's a farm, but not in essence of.
on the books of zone.
Right.
So that's what he's going.
And the only concern would be is we approve it as of right, say it's a farm, and then he goes to the zoning and he says
Does
no.
it regulate, say agricultural?
It says, following are as of right, grazing, farming, nurseries, gardening, harvesting of crops, and farm ponds of 3 acres or less, essential to the farming operation, and activities done by or under the authority of the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection.
Okay, this is the one that's here.
Well, grazing, is already an animal, they're grazing. He's done more than that.
I mean, there's a lot that is under here. I don't see anything
So,
specific that just says agricultural.
yeah, so it's just again, because the bars and the cutting were within feet, technically it would be a violation, but it's considered as a right and part of the agricultural farming use. It's not.
So our options tonight are receive the application. I mean, that's all that we could.
You can
review.
receive it, just like it with that if you want.
yeah,
And-
receive it.
But then, I guess we just tackle it next month,
We could do that.
and if anything changes, then maybe we'll change our mind.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we need a site visit. to
Okay, then we
determine
don't need to do
a
that.
farm. I think that would be kind of a waste of time. Trust you, then, that's fine.
Okay.
All right, so,
Photos.
okay, why don't we just accept the application tonight, we'll figure out how to next month. Okay, so I'll need a motion to receive application.
Motion to receive the application.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those voting in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed or abstaining? Okay, so we received the application. Yes, just figure out next month what we want to do.
That sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Was Mike unanimous?
Yes.
I don't remember he's online. Okay,
Okay, item agenda number 4, we're on to administrative review. This is IWC 24-7, 9 Van Dyke Lane, Thomas Stevens, PE is the applicant. Robert Anderson, the owner. It's for activity within 50 feet of an inland wetlands or a water course for new bedroom residence and appurtenant structures, proposed reserve for sanitary septic and rain garden and wetlands. Assessors map 4, block 1, lot B-9 in the zone R80. So for tonight, we need to determine whether it is a significant activity which would require a public hearing. Otherwise, it would be eligible for a decision. So,
Well, we went out there for a second one.
Yep.
And, we all saw everything. He's out there. Yeah, Green Lake Road.
so I guess why don't we start with Mr. Mandel? Do you want to go through, do you have a short presentation that you want to give or?
Good evening, Chuck Mandel, the applicant. I have a couple of things here. First off, I have some hard copies that you guys can look at, uncover up a little bit. Yeah, that's colored enough. We'll leave it on the eye. Okay, now I also have a smaller. Yeah, it's probably up to maybe there are a lot of lines on this thing. I know everyone's got to read maps. But sometimes, when I start talking, it's a little easier. Then I'll give these to the exhibit. So, this is number 9 Van Dyke Lane, the 1.42 acre subdivision lot that was approved in July 1965 prior to wetlands. It's filed map number 761. The original wetland approval was dated February 24th, 2000. And I have a copy of that approval. And then we exhibit, I'll just put that over here.
Yeah, and that was also, you guys put,
Yeah,
the documents, yeah, it was,
I'm just keeping my stuff.
yeah, so you all have to.
Yeah, and it was approved for, by this commission, well, this, by the Wetlands Commission for an extension and a transfer, of the permit to the Anderson brothers, and I have a copy of that. Got the minutes for that. Along with the original approval, was a review by the town engineer, Jakeson Associates, and that was dated, 2/1/2000. And I also have that. This is all on the record of 9 Van Dyke Lane, but I just want to get it. So in that report by Jacobson Associates, the only comment he made was number 1, it's in a flood zone, which we know. And the other thing, the other comment was, even though it's relatively flat, they were still recommending fill. Those are the only comments from Jacobson. Let's see. I also have an exhibit clarifying the proposed 80-foot wide mitigation and enhancement plan as originally approved by the original subdivision. So if you look at a smaller sheet, that red hatched area, that was the original approval for an 80-foot strip that runs parallel to the river. So that was already approved, and also there's a mitigation and enhancement plan that was done by Rich Snarsky. I also have a copy of that. That was New England Environmental, and it's dated December 29th, 1999. So he gave a complete detailed mitigation plan and planting plan for the site already. And this was all based on some of the comments that I received from town staff today, as a matter of fact. So I kind of scrambled to get all this information together. I was kind of caught, well, not my pants down, but I did. I was kind of surprised to get all that letter from the town staff, as if they hadn't looked at the record. So, let's see. So that was from Rich Snarsky, who's a certified soil scientist. Everyone's familiar with it.
Everybody knows.
Yep, and along with the sketch was the approved narrative of soil scientists, and the proposed methodology to achieve it. In addition to the mitigation area, which is in red, there was also proposed on the original approval as a conservation area. And that's that blue, that's like what is green, blue. There's that blue dark line that kind of goes in here. So that was a conservation area that was approved by the commission. And not only was it approved by the commission, it's also codified with the declaration of perpetual conservation restriction easement, and it's all spelled out, and this is in the town land records. So this is all with this lot already, so it's already restricted. Number 1, it has the enhancement area, which we have a full report, a mitigation report. And we also have the conservation restriction, which is deeded, which the Anderson brothers, Bobby Anderson, bought it. This is part of the record. So I'm just gonna give you that as another example. And that's pretty much it. I mean, so everything was spelled out. The conservation easement is in place. The mitigation area is in. There was concern that it had been cleared. So the original in, I think, 2000, or when Anderson bought it, they had done some clearing based on the original permit. and then they stopped. Like, they ran out of money, I'm not sure what happened. There were some violations, I think a family member was camping on there, they got tossed off. People dump garbage down there, it's a vacant lot at the end of the cul-de-sac. So there was garbage on site, Bob and there were some burn pits that Kathy had noted. When I spoke to Bob Anderson about that, he said that actually, Mr. Alberino actually issued him 2 burn permits to actually burn the brush that was on site.
Exactly.
I couldn't find that in the scanned records, but there was permitted to burn there. On the sidewalk, the original, when you guys have been out there, the brush that was piled up against the fence, as Kathy said, in August of this year, there's a Google photograph that demonstrated that there was brush, underbrush invasives. Well, he did go out there and he removed that and he pushed it all up against the fence, just so he could see what was out there. He didn't disturb the ground, he just kind of took his machine and just got the vegetation and pushed it against the fence. And I think that's pretty much it. It had been previously filled, on Snarsky's, letter. It stated that prior to them even getting there, before the first boundary amendment, it had been filled wet. It was filled wetlands, but it still met the criteria for wetlands, even though it was 1.5 feet, and what is it, 2 feet? And it doesn't become wetlands anymore. I think it's something like that. Anything over 2 feet is designated not wetlands. If it's under 2 feet and it was wetland soils underneath, still considered wetlands. So it was still considered wetlands. That's why the flagging, even though it didn't look like it was wetlands where we were walking, it was delineated as a wetland. When he augured down 18 inches, he found wetland soils. So that's why it was delineated. But like I said, I had all the approvals were in place and really just, even though it lapsed and there was a long space in between, I still feel that the information that was provided to this commission back then from the town engineer, from the soil scientist, the declaration of perpetual conservation easement, which is part of the record, which is all deeded in land records already. I don't really see any basis for denial. I mean, the soil scientist who went out there, Michelle Ford, I know her very well, but she had no idea. I don't believe she ever saw any of this. So when you look at it, I mean, it looks ugly. I mean, it's not a nice, it's not a pretty lot, but it can be taken care of. And with the 80-foot buffer that's going to get planted, I don't know if Starsky's still working, I don't know if he's still around, but either way, we'll have a soil scientist redo that whole, look at the plantings and make sure it's appropriate. I mean, in 20 years, I don't think wetlands plants have changed all that much. About the same species. So if there are any questions, I'll certainly try to answer.
Could you explain, because I didn't get a chance to see, what was approved for that 80-foot buffer?
Yeah, so that was
right attached.
Yeah, so that's in Starsky's report. So that was, so the actual wording of that, I just handed it to you. I can see Starsky's report.
Is that,
Yes, that's all, I got this all from records from the original approval. This is all online, on the Van Dyke plan. Thank you.
So, let me read this. Okay, so this is dated, December 29th, 1999. The natural wetlands on the site have been previously filled. The depth of fill is not sufficient to declassify the wetlands. The classified wetlands contain mostly upland species. Moving the fill from the wetlands and creating the hydrology of a swamp or marsh was explored. The site is mostly wooded 80 feet from the river. The existing woodland area is providing good riparian habitat along the river and should remain. So that's the 80-foot buffer that we're talking. The riparian buffer can be enhanced by removing exotic invasives, multi-rose, and selectively clearing the speckled alder to increase species diversity in wildlife. That is it. 4 native shrub species which produce berries will be planted to increase the habitat. The following outlines a mitigated enhancement plan, installation of install a conservation easement in the area as shown on the plan, which is done. Remove the exotic invasives, which I think was done when he went and cleared that. A lot of those invasives were gone. The herbicide Roundup, rodeo, painted on the cut stones. Speckled adder and embrace is an aggressive native species. Snarsky will flag the alders to be removed. The following species will be planted in the conservation easement area once the multiflora rose and speckled alder is removed. soil scientist will determine the location of the plantings. And then he has a list of silky dogwood, red, oozy dogwood, winterberry, hydra.
So you're basically then taking the original approved work that's gonna be in the 80 foot and including it in your,
Yeah, that's part of the record. Yes, exactly right. Yes,
Okay.
that's what we're proposing. And that was already on the plan that we submitted last month, and I just sort of colored it up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better.
okay, you call it out restoration and enhancement area per reference map B. on your
Yes,
plan?
and that's already in the record. That was up on, Park Road.
Was this being, talked about 20 years ago or something?
Yes, yeah,
Property.
yes.
And how far from the river is the house actually going? Because that'll be considered the wetlands there.
129 feet.
Looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's written on there. It's, 122.5.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple of plateaus there we visited. That's,
Yeah, that's when they had brought in fill early, so that's all gonna get taken care of. That's gonna be graded for the foundation or nothing's gonna be.
and there's no drains on the foundation of the house.
No, it's in an AE zone, so it has to be on a road.
The patches were roof and all that stuff.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right, because of cul-de-sac.
so for coastal construction standards, that's what you have to
You
adhere
can
to.
see where's your septic?
The septic is as far away from the wetland. And we already had approval from the health department, of course. We went out and did a confirmatory pit and Rebecca Drew from Crad was satisfied.
We saw the site.
Yeah.
So I think I'm looking at like the original approved plan that I got scanned. And it looks like you changed the house orientation a little bit. Because the original plan shows that it's 167 feet from your edge of.
Yeah, we have a different house there. That was also a garage.
So you're changing the layout of the house, location and shifting it a bit?
Yes, yeah. And that was, a lot of that was due to the septic system. The MLSS has changed a little bit. So the system's a little bit longer. We didn't put the L in there, fit the soil or the airport. So the septic system kind of drove the location of the house. Taking the house in closer to the septic. And we're almost on the road to setback lines.
So they have this line on the original plan, almost like your limit of construction, which would be, I guess, where the wetland line is gonna move to.
Well, I mean, so the wetland
It's
line,
almost like this line here. So that is like what they were calling the original, like.
yeah, that's a silt fence line.
Yeah,
They have on it, yes.
So I guess where is that line in relation to your current plan? Like, are you proposing more
So,
than what was
so
originally
I'm
proposed?
showing the silt fence on our proposed plan. So that was the silt fence that was installed on the site. So the actual line of disturbance is gonna be at the conservation line. So that whole thing, everything's gonna be moved up. There's gonna be no, if you read the restrictions on the conservation easement, there can be really no activity. You can remove some dead brush, it could be used for passive recreation, camping or fishing, that's it. But that blue line is actually, that's the limit of the proposed area.
Have the,
I'm sorry?
could I have the report back?
Yeah, I think I gave
Here's
it.
the report.
Oh, it's right here.
That's 4. What was number 3?
So do you have like a pre versus post impacts to wetlands back in 2000 that was approved versus what impacts to wetlands are now?
All I have is what's on the record for the old report. It hasn't been touched since the original report. A functions and values report.
No, like like an area.
Yeah,
So it's hard to look at the original plan and say, okay, we're impacting 12,000 square feet. And now it's like modifications you're making, it's 14.
Like 14.
So are you increasing it from what was originally approved? Like, I'm trying to get.
Yeah, so the garage actually.
But it's a big garage.
Yeah. Well, he's a contractor, he has no place to go, I think he's separating from his wife, he needs a place to live, and not that that matters so well, but I mean, that's why he wants that garage there. In addition, the mitigation area is, it's like 73% over the 1,200, so it's a net increase of 173% greater. The mitigation is way outstrips the disturbance. That's, I have a small,
Well, that's really not the issue. The whole issue with that property is it's so flat.
oh,
It's so close to the river, you know, it's.
And the floodway too.
Yeah.
right, so it's in the floodway, there can be nothing to be done in the floodway. You have to have compensatory storage, which we usually account for. So if you bring in a yard fill, you have to scoop out a yard, a hole, essentially.
So are they gonna raise the property at all?
No, just the proposed grades around the house. The house is not gonna have a full basement, obviously, so it's gonna crawl space.
Right.
There's after that, I believe, there's not only not a negative effect, there's actually a positive effect by putting in that.
Yeah, there's not gonna be running water in the garage.
No, it's not proposed. There's no, it's just gonna be in the garage for storage. I mean, like I said, this lot has existed in 1965, we did a similar lot, and I think Bert was involved. I don't know if anyone else was here on Boulder Lake. It was actually a lot, and it was in the wetlands. And we proved septic, and the commission approved, it had to take time out to approve it, even though, that could happen with the older lots. And when land becomes so limited, there aren't any lots left. Everyone talks about housing, they need places to live and everything else, and then, in the zoning and wetlands, everything restricts it, so I don't know really where to go.
And these wetlands, so the wetland line that you're, on your plan was the original from 2000?
Yes.
So it hasn't been redone?
Well, it's so far off, I mean, it was still per Snarcy's letter, it's filled wetlands, but it still meets the criteria of wetlands. So that shouldn't change unless someone else.
Well, it's been
Well,
20 years.
20 years.
Almost 20.
So the only thing is, it could have gotten worse.
These do change.
Yeah, well,
Like the wetlands that you might want to be permitting, like they might not actually be there. They're probably not. Since then, he's brought in fill and into a
well,
good
he hasn't,
chunk of the area.
he hasn't, just that one pile that was there, I don't even know when it was there, maybe.
From when he had his approval.
Exactly, I don't know, so I don't think the wetlands creeped up further up the road, maybe, I doubt it.
How old is this plan here?
The original plan was 2000, and this plan is, so 2000 is the wetland delineation that's on this plan, that was the original plan.
Well, when we were there, it was after a silky rain, and it was just a couple boats.
Yeah, I mean, it was fairly dry, but I don't think, as you can see, I don't think my client should have to spend money to have a blue flag. I mean, it's wet, but it's not showing. Like I said, the conservation line is now going to be the new B line, and we can post it, we can enhance it more, but it will be the 80-foot strip. Right, carrying buffer. Yeah, the riparian buffer is going to be crucial to enhance this wetlands.
Right.
So was the original approval to basically, the IWC would allow them to eradicate the wetlands up to the conservation easement line?
Oh, last month it was.
It was, they proposed, no, not up to the conservation, line, just shy, of it,
Okay.
but not to go over it.
The surveyors approved it last month.
I mean, and I'm telling you, we had silky rains, it was heavy rains, there was a couple of boats.
Well, like I said, based on Jacobson's report,
Yeah,
he said it's so fast, but so anyway, just to make sure the workers.
well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
It was topsoil.
It'll be, yeah, so I mean,
There will be topsoil and seed.
I mean, I get that, you know, the previous IWC approved this back in 2000. I mean, it was just coming out of the Wild West where you were allowed to do anything. I mean, I think it's a little different now, like this would probably be deemed a non-buildable lot,
And, oh, absolutely.
which was approved in 2000.
This never would have made it to the summit.
Yeah, and it has an approved site plan.
Yes, yeah, it's an improved subdivision, file map 765.
I know there is, Scott, you saw
I
this.
think under those circumstances, you know, it's gonna be a matter of, you know, is it property worth building on or not? And it's sitting there, he's done all the things he's had to do up to this point to get it approved. You know, it's, like you said, it was a while less than, that's maybe the last thing what he thinks to do,
And that's-
to do, you know?
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of afraid of, set precedents of, okay, now we're approving housing, building wetlands. Like, I don't think I've ever approved any building wetlands other than the one we just approved earlier this year for down on Route 1.
Right,
And then
Exactly.
behind is a flat area, but it's next.
But it was
houses
approved
right around here.
previously, changed ownership hands, right? Because he had it converted.
Right, right.
And then he let his permit lapse. I mean,
It's up,
it's not a great lot.
no, it's up, I'm telling you, in Boulder Lake, we built a house.
If everything went correctly, you would have been. building.
And as Scott said, this never would have been a lot. Never would have been,
But it is a lot.
correct. OP plus we need septic permission.
So I guess between what was originally permitted and what you're putting forward now, what are the big differences?
It's the garage. It's really the garage. The conservation line is the same, the buffer is the same, nothing else has changed on
Other than like the septic design.
it. Except the design is better.
Better.
Yes,
a lot better.
yes.
What about, footage of the building? Is that
Of what?
of the actual house? Is that-
Yeah.
Two bedrooms.
Yeah, it's probably 3 bedroom, it's like a little bit bigger, like I said, square foot, like I said, it's about 2,000 square foot more.
And there's no cellar, it's not a flat.
No, it's in a flood zone.
But I just want to make sure. I'm asking these questions.
Cross.
It's only 1472 square feet.
That's tiny.
What is it? Is that correct? The whole house? It's not double that, right? I mean, we put FF 1450.
First floor.
First floor. Oh,
Finished floor.
oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, so. If I could double that,
Yeah, it's 72 stories.
so it's gonna be 2,800 square feet. Each first floor.
Yeah, just leave it.
Yeah, but that's FF piece.
It's really more about the footprint itself.
The third
Where's that
floor.
deck going? Where's that deck?
Steps are.
It's only 6 feet wide.
Yeah, that's it. We told them that's all you can do.
Right.
Well, because you're up against the floodway, you can't do.
And we're away from,
You're
we're
already
away
there,
from that,
12 feet.
away from that, lake.
No, can't.
I want that, we're away from that,
Yes,
the tree, those two trees.
yep, there were 2 small trees.
Yeah, two small trees.
Yep,
Well, it's right next to the flood zone. Holy crap.
The
Yeah.
floodway.
Even the corner of the, right there,
right, the floodway, yeah,
floodway.
yeah, there's no construction allowed.
How close is that away?
Probably, what, 8?
I think that, you know, just for, you know, the stipulation, I'm more concerned with the foundations of the properties. You know, that they're completely waterproof before they're sealed up.
Yeah, like I said,
You know, I mean, otherwise,
Yeah.
whatever you put there is gonna deteriorate.
No,
quickly.
it's in an AE zone, so it has to be here coastal construction standard, it's a flood standards, okay? It will be, it has to be FEMA compliant.
Right.
So in regards to flooding damage and concrete, it's all has to be building code for floods. Waterproof materials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Flood vents also have those smart vents.
Yeah.
So to mitigate flooding.
So it's gonna go by FEMA.
He has to.
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
Yep. absolutely.
We would have any approval.
You can't get a building permit.
Oh, that, yeah, that's fine.
I know, I'm just saying, we're talking.
So when this river floods, is his development gonna make any change to your, like, flood profile of the river? Like, you're not gonna flood out his neighbor because he's making adjustments to his property?
That's why we have the compensatory storage.
Is that what you're doing with the rain garden?
No, the rain garden is strictly for, the roof leaders.
How are you getting your compensatory storage?
By, their computations on the map. So we're showing whatever fill we're bringing in, we're balancing the cuts and fills on the lot.
Okay, so you'll be excavating within the flood zone and moving that fill
Yes,
outside the flood
yes,
zone.
yeah.
I see, I just did this a little earlier here.
Yeah, the comps are on the plan, for the compensatory storage.
Is there any risk that the garage will flood?
It's gonna be built to the same flood zone standard, so the garage will have, flood vents on there. So for every square foot of floor space, in a flood zone, have to have 1 square inch. So
The garage floor will be all cement.
that'll be a cement and it'll have, these little square, they use smart vents now. Those are engineered flood vents, so raccoons and the water can flow in and out and animals can't get it out. If you drive along the shoreline, in some of the newer construction, you'll see these little silver vents along. Those are used for the, to mitigate the flood.
Tell anyone, you,
I said, there's a formula, it's for every square foot of floor space and 1 square inch.
Yeah, well, that's been figured out by you.
Yeah,
As long as it's a concrete floor, and there's always a pitch to that,
yeah.
And the garage will have 2 garage doors probably.
I'm not sure.
With that.
Yeah, possible.
could we send him a message?
Yeah.
To go on mute? Yeah. Who's that? No,
I know, I need to separate.
Yeah, I guess.
Should be on.
Chuck, you had given us an exhibit labeled number 3, and I might have given it back to you when I handed you this report.
Yeah, I think we might do this.
Kathy, can you send
That's
out a
me.
message to mute his?
This one is 3.
You can send a
What?
message.
I don't have to. Where's chat? Chat.
I guess, Doug or Mike, do you guys, any questions being remote?
No, it's actually pretty hard with this meeting because I can't see what's going on. All I can see is Sherry really, and it's hard to hear. I don't know why. So usually I can see who's talking, what's happening, but I can't see anything.
Change the video to be on the help. Sherry?
We are.
Yeah, we should put it on the owl so we can see.
Yeah, I can't see anything. It's like I'm disconnected from the whole thing, to be honest with
Other than hearing everything.
you. I can hear
Hey,
it, but
Doug,
Yeah.
Doug, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. But it's,
Can you mute your computer until you're speaking?
no, it needs to be hooked up to the owl so we can see what's going on. We can't
No.
see what's going on. We can't see
Yeah.
anything.
Then put it to mute his computer.
It is hooked up that, yeah. But even if you could see, I mean, Chuck should be able to hear his audio, because he's talking on it. But he's not showing us anything in the office on the easel, he's just speaking, so you should still be able to hear it.
Yeah, we don't have really any figures
Yeah.
other than the site plan that we're looking at.
So you should be able to
Online.
hear his presentation. You can't.
Right, we can't see anything, so it's
right.
There's nothing to see on.
It's all, his presentation is an oral presentation. Can you not hear? Here, no?
I got a pretty big mouth.
Are you guys having trouble hearing the meeting?
Yeah, Mike, we're trying to,
we can
Yes.
hardly hear you too because it's echoey. It sounds like you're so far away.
And if you got multiple people talking, it kind of gets garbled too.
Yeah, I think all the audio is probably going through your computer, Sherry, and not the owl.
Right, it's going through her computer, not the owl, exactly. 'cause
Yeah.
I-
People speaking across the can't hear.
Yeah, we had a.
Yeah,
Give it a minute.
We're gonna get the owl going, Mike.
We set it up when we first came in, it should be.
Looks like you're.
What's that wire hanging off the top?
Did you not hang up yet?
what? Oh,
I'm gonna straighten this out. Make me nervous.
No, I'll come around.
Yeah, keep going that way with it.
what part are we not?
Oh. You need to plug in that piece.
Yeah,
That's why it's not moving around, so you can't see anything.
Yeah.
hold on, guys.
No, take it.
Technical difficulty.
I'll start
Where
over.
are you going?
So this goes.
Well, Mike's cold, so. And so is he, so.
Hear it, only of us, because.
The microphone's all the way over here. on the computer.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
There should be. There's going to be.
This one?
Oh.
Yeah. You have everything else plugged in? Speak out of the wall. I think I don't know.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah, but we should have been earlier.
What?
They came in earlier.
Yeah, it was on.
Is it out? No, it's out.
What can you- It didn't when we first set it up unless it shut itself.
There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear us now?
I think it takes a second to.
Can you hear me now?
That's much better.
There you go.
There you go, Mike.
I still can't see anything other than Sherry.
You don't need to see the.
You don't wanna see it.
It's not
There's
showing
no
us
room for that.
anything.
Yeah, there's no visuals, we're just using plans that were in the record on file. So if you click that little link in your agenda,
Lights off your heads.
it'll take it to all the files, and we're looking at the site plan.
Okay.
So, anyone have any questions?
Yes, I do. I think the comment you made was setting a precedent. Is there any way that if we go ahead and accept this, we can say it was grandfathered in because of the prior work? So that it doesn't allow us to have to do the same thing in the future?
We could get a motion drafted, I'm sure that refers to the date and the time of the plans that were approved, so that there is record in the book of, okay, we are approving a modification to originally a permitted plan. Which I would want to do, so that we're not setting precedents of, we're approving a building filling in wetlands where in 2025, I don't think we.
You could
Say,
use the word
this is
disregard.
not, we should. But so I'd be careful about using the word grandfather, because we're not necessarily grandfather.
Well, right on some real.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, when we had a project in town, I mean, think about that, right? That was, What's his name? Next is, the propane company. Verizon. They were gonna put up a building and it was because everything went chaos. Then back in 2008, they came back before us again, in planning and zoning. And we let them go ahead because it was, they approved, everything was approved. And because of all the monies, nobody knew where the country was going.
Yeah,
And-
that has nothing to do with that.
And then we let them go ahead and build. In other words, they didn't have to go through, jump through all the hoops. And if he had an approval back prior, and maybe this should be the last one that we ever approve.
But that's different. And zoning is different than a wetlands approval.
I understand, but,
Because the wetlands can change, the situation can
right,
change.
but I was out there with everybody else, and we had a series of, heavy rains, and the ground was just about dry. Everybody agree with that?
Well, there's a picture I sent you, did you look at the report?
Yes.
And that had the flooding on it. Those were Google images.
Well, I mean, anyone can take a picture of a flood.
No, but I'm saying it was the whole area, and it was out to the road into where the house was, so, I mean,
Does it have a deck on both sides of the house?
oh,
Back view.
No, it's like 34 by 6 foot. 34 by 6 feet wide. That's the only deck.
This little depiction.
Oh, no.
Okay, that's just a different thing. Okay.
So
So are we voting to approve this? Or are we voting for a public hearing? What are we doing?
So that's good question. So that's something that we need to decide first.
You think it's just significant activity?
Does this project represent a significant activity based on what our regulations are? And I can.
Yes.
I think it does.
Yeah,
Okay, so that is the first thing we need to do, is do we think it's significant activity? I
well,
I think it's a significant activity, yes.
And I would agree with Mike. You know, we're filling in wetlands. I think anytime we say we're filling in wetlands, that would be significant activity. And all that does is trigger the applicant to fill out a couple more things to provide us. An alternative assessment, functions and values of the wetlands. And then what it really does is it pushes us to a public hearing. So now the public is allowed to comment. Will the public comment? I don't know, but at least we open it up to them.
Doing due diligence.
Yes.
That's important.
And it's not saying we're not gonna approve the permit, but it's at least taking the kind of the next steps that I think that we should.
So wetlands, lot area altered is 14,365?
Yes.
Okay, and then the,
we're mitigating,
removal,
we're mitigating was 24,000.
I think it's.
but it says removal of garbage over 122. And 108 for positive,
That's the fill.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's only gonna be helpful to.
Well, that's what it comes, that's sorry. Now, and I understand, so, I mean, I'm gonna wetlands commission myself.
Yeah, I know you're.
And I would call this a significant activity, on my commission.
Yep.
If it had not already been approved, I mean, you're just adding more expense to my client. I mean, we all understand, we all get it, and I know you, to protect yourself, maybe you should just call it a significant activity no matter what it is. Right? But on behalf of my client, nothing's gonna change, there's no alternative. The only alternative is to not do it at all. And to abandon the lot and have the town purchase the lot, they're gonna condemn the lot. So I don't see what more we can do. We have Snarski report, we have the planting schedule, we have a deeded conservation easement. I mean, it's a very unusual circumstance, and I agree, and like I said, it's the ugly sister to the whole subdivision, and no one wants it, I get it. But in regards to harm to the wetlands, which is also part of your regulation, what physical or chemical harm are we doing to the wetlands? We're doing nothing, we're actually enhancing it by putting that buffer. Right now, there's no protection that, riparian buffer right now. All we're doing is enhancing it. So to get a public hearing, to get the adjourners, to do the certifications, functions and values, I see no value in that right now. So, and it's already been approved by the commission. I granted things that change in 2025. This would never be allowed. I get it. I personally would not allow this lot, if I were you guys, but here we are. We have the lot. It's in 1965. They've been paying taxes on it. I just don't understand it, and it is a buildable lot. We had septic approval, so I don't understand.
We
Why?
got, no well, right? Is
No,
city water?
Yeah, I believe it's public water.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I think it is.
There's a well. It says there's a well,
Oh,
proposed
yeah,
well.
no, actually, you're right. It is well water. So we located all.
The back corner, it says a well.
Yeah, no, you're right.
All right.
So, and we located all the wells in the area. So, like I said, my point is, I don't understand what the value would be to delay this another month.
Well, the value would be allowing the public to have comment, especially
Yeah,
neighbors, because
believe me.
environmentalists that live in Clinton might take no interest to us allowing or setting precedents of filling wetlands. So the value is to the public.
Yeah, no,
Not necessarily.
Scott, I get it, and I would argue, I would tell my client.
I know.
I would tell the
It's your
applicant.
job to argue for best interest of your.
Exactly, but I think it's a waste of money. And everyone complains about no building, you can't build, and we need housing, and once again, here are these commissions.
Will he make any alterations on the size of the house?
No, absolutely not. No changes.
No, you won't make any changes?
No, if he does, coming back here.
And engineers already approved the changes that he made, correct?
Notice for the changes.
No, this is a new application.
New application.
Yeah, like I said, the conservation easement was the one that.
We're
So if
recommending
we
that
let
the
it
town
go through,
engineer.
it can go
review
through to the planning and zoning.
No, doesn't have to, it's already approved, it's an approved building.
So as long as he needs, what, setback and.
Yeah, as long as it's done.
Lot size.
Exactly.
Kind of a decision, I think it's, I agree that it's a waste. At this point, I think it's gonna get approved either way. In the end.
But it would be allowing it to open to public comment, so that if a member of the public does have an issue with what we're doing, there's a forum.
Yeah, but if it was approved before, I'm just saying this, if it was approved before and it sat there. Sometimes it's man-made wetlands, things change, the topography changes. So,
Why we're suggesting it be delineated, because it's been 25
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, but I don't
Usually
understand why,
wetlands are
what the point is, it's not gonna, I don't think it creeps up to the fence. I think if anything, it migrated away.
migrate back, yeah,
So,
so, I'm just
to
saying,
what end?
so I'm just saying, if it was. I don't know, I was out there, so after a significant rain, it was hardly any water, and if you're gonna improve the wetlands. And,
There's
protect it,
there's an 80-foot buffer for riparian buffer, and there's also a 15-day appeal period after.
is an 80-foot buffer, I mean, it's just.
Yes, but it was also approved when I was 16 years old.
I'm talking about now, it's an 80-foot buffer, right? Right now, today, 2025, January 7th, there's an 80-foot buffer.
Well,
If the
that was
wetlands haven't
implemented.
changed.
Huh?
That was implemented, right, but it was never performed.
It was never done.
Right, so it'll be done.
Correct. And you could post the whatever bond, like I said, there is a 15-day appeal period if anyone doesn't want.
But they won't know.
So let's tackle first significant activity. Do we, as a commission, deem this a significant activity? I can read the description if we need to. I can maybe summarize it real fast. So significant activity means anything but not limited to the following activities, which may have a substantial effect on the area for which an application is provided. Activity involving the deposition or removal of materials, which may have a substantial effect on the regulated area or another part of the inland wetland or water course. activity which may substantially change the natural channel, prohibiting the natural dynamics of a watercourse, activity which may substantially diminish the natural capacity of an inland wetland or watercourse to support desirable fisheries, wildlife, or other biological life, prevent flooding, supply water, assimilate waste, facilitate drainage, provide recreation or open space or other functions, an activity which causes substantial turbidity, siltation, or sedimentation in a wetland or watercourse, activity which causes substantial diminution of flow of a natural watercourse or groundwater levels, activity which causes or has the potential to cause pollution to a wetland or watercourse, activity which creates conditions which may adversely affect the health, welfare, and safety of an individual or the community, or an activity which destroys the unique wetland or watercourse areas having demonstrable scientific or educational value. So it's a lot, and it's broad, but I feel like we need a couple of these. Filling in, so they're depositing material,
And then also taking out.
and they're changing the topography. Which one was it? Changes the natural channel or may inhibit the natural dynamics of a watercourse system. So that's,
You're gonna also protect that.
yes, but they are changing. Okay, so they're making it better, but they're moving it. So I think they meet at least two of those of what we consider a city.
I think my original concern was to establish the precedent. The future applicants use them to say, well, you committed it to, why not me?
Exactly. I think by trying to alleviate that is we hold a public, call it a significant activity, hold a public hearing, whether anyone from the public shows up or not, we at least hold a public hearing. And then in a motion to approve, you can make references back to the original approval from 2000 that stipulates based on that approval, this is what we're approving. And that'll at least give time for town staff to create a motion to approve for us then.
So they need
Covers our butts.
15 days to put out a word about the public hearing, and then it's 15 days to read until there is one. Is that it?
So we would schedule the public hearing for our next regular monthly meeting. We open up the public hearing. We could accept any additional testimony if we require it. It would allow members from the public to give testimony if they do so. We could close the public hearing and then we can make a
You can make a
determination
vote,
by next
right?
day. Yeah. The 1 month delay, I don't think he's building
Yeah. it's
in right now anyways, right?
No.
It's not.
You can't even go past the cross line, so.
So.
What's
we've had
the-
a
what's
little
the
bit of
date?
time.
February 4th. I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, first Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday of the month.
I'll be in the keys on the sixth.
That's already.
That's a great plan.
So I,
No delineation there.
Yes, let's,
so I guess can we do by consensus?
let's do that.
Who thinks it is a significant activity? Like I thought I heard you say it is, right?
Mike,
Like Florida.
Florida.
What? I can hardly hear you.
Sorry, I thought I heard you say this is a significant activity, right?
I believe it is. I believe it is, yes.
Does anyone here think it's not? Just before.
I think it's been a significant
It's
activity.
medicine, because we have to take 20 years. But they're gonna enhance, they're doing a lot of protection. That's my only thing, you know, they're gonna fix, they're gonna protect what's there now. Right now, if they abandon this,
Yeah, it's gonna go to waste.
it's gonna go to waste, and that's gonna be a significant activity in the worst way, because it can go into that. If we deny it, I'm sure Mr. Anderson's not gonna spend a lot of money damming up, you know, fixing up, the water to protect. And when he fixes it, he's gonna have an 80-foot buffer. There's no buffer there now. So all I'm saying is, if we deny this and don't do nothing, it's gonna go to waste. And then It's an unbuildable lot, and then the, waterway will be open to everything. I mean, it could,
Well, people are dumping.
yeah, that's another thing, people are using it as a dump site. I mean, the guy's cleaning it up, that's my thing. That's why I gave verdigris, he got rid of a lot of crap, he didn't burn anything illegal, but he burned a lot of wood, he burned a lot of brush, he cleaned it up like you did on Blake. So, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other, I mean,
And it'll turn into blight.
it's gotta be blight if we don't. I know it's a significant activity, but he's gonna fix it.
Okay, but the question in front of us now is this a significant activity?
Yeah, you already said it was.
Not everybody.
Not everyone, I'm getting everyone's answers, I'm confused by your answer. Yes or no?
Yes, now, but no in the future. How's that? Is that fine?
Makes no sense.
No,
Yes.
it makes-
Are we gonna hold a?
Makes no sense at all.
Yeah, we're gonna, hold a public hearing.
Wait, wait,
So.
let's, would you please go through so I can get it right on the
Can we
minutes?
do a roll call vote, or if it is a significant?
That's what I'm doing.
Definitely now, it won't be in the future. That's.
Eddie,
You need a motion.
We just keep it down.
So,
no, consensus is, okay. This is for, is it is, yes, okay, significant activity. Eddie Alberino,
yes.
Lawrence Edwards,
Yes.
Michael Florio,
Yes.
Thomas Welch,
Yes.
Bertram Schmitz,
Yes.
Scott Harley.
Okay. So we require a public hearing.
Okay, so you have now, you got consensus that it is, now you have to do the motion.
I do have a motion for here.
Yes.
There's a couple of facts.
Eddie, since you're next to me, would you make this motion on the bottom and it goes over to the next page? Actually, but give everyone a chance to read that motion before we set it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand that it is significant activity, but I really am impressed with the plans. I'm impressed with the presentation. My biggest concern would be about the septic, and that question is.
Any extra?
So I really hope that the commission does approve of this. For me, I think it's a beautiful piece of property. I'm gonna be your voice in the wilderness. I could just picture myself there, fly fishing on a river.
I grew up fishing in that spot.
So
Yeah,
I think it's great, but I think it's very exciting that this is going to develop. And I wish them all the best.
All right,
I just
so
wanted to say
you
that.
say that. That's what I'm saying, I'm saying the
I
same
don't
thing.
think anybody's arguing that.
I'm saying the same thing you are, and I think even Tom, nobody's doubting that. But
Well, I just
as
wanted
it
to say,
stays today,
right, I hear it. I just wanted to say something I can't vote.
no, but that's, you could give your
You're
input.
allowed to give your input.
You're allowed to give
Don't
input.
ask any questions.
And that means a lot to us, Pastor, I'm just saying, but today, that's why I said, today, yes, but after he finishes it,
I
no.
understand.
That's why I'm torn to say that I know that it'll be done correctly. I just know it'll be done correctly. That's my feeling, and to protect that waterway means a lot to me. I mean, if we don't, people, I mean, it's gonna turn into a useless eyesore, and that's where the neighbors should be complaining.
You know, I don't understand Scott's position, as chairman, to let the public.
But he's right, though.
Yes, no, I get it.
It's a two-sided coin.
Yeah, no, I get it, that's the beauty of bureaucracy, spending people's money. It's just another expense, another $1,000 whatever dollars to go through the delay it and get the public hearing, put out the notifications. I was shocked when I saw that, not shocked, but I was a little surprised when I got that letter today from the town staff. I didn't even realize that they had a soil science look at it, but obviously, I don't think she looked at the past reports. So, she said, we said there's no negative impact on our plan. She said, no, there is a negative impact. Well, she didn't see that we were proposing an 80-foot riparian buffer. So it was kind of misleading and disingenuous to get that.
I don't
today.
think that's true.
Well,
Michelle is very knowledgeable.
I'm just speaking for myself. I don't know what the truth is. I'm just saying, that was my impression of things, okay? And that's how things used to be done. We used to get letters at 4 o'clock, the night before a meeting. That was, Jacobson was famous for. And once again, I got a letter today.
Well, we talked to you on the phone yesterday.
No, I get it, but it was not the letter, it was not the letter.
Because we didn't have a lot of information, we requested, and Michelle.
It was all part of the
I'm
record.
not gonna, I'm not gonna.
Okay, no, that's fine.
The state of Connecticut's doing a lot of delineation work, and it's a constant thing where, so the delineation was done last year, that doesn't mean that it can be approved today.
Right, absolutely, and different soil scientists will do different delineations.
And they are the law when it comes to delineation.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they're like attorneys, they have different opinions.
So Kathy has put together a draft motion that we can make. I guess the one thing that I want to point out that is in Kathy's motion that we should discuss, whether we're gonna ask the applicant to do it, is provide an updated wetland delineation. So Kathy's recommendation was to have the applicant provide basically a new wetland line, how it stands now, because it's 24 years old.
Right, and I did that in conjunction with Michelle and Happy's suggestions as well.
So that's part of the draft. So I wanted to discuss that with us. Is that something that we want to ask the applicant to is provide an updated wetland line?
What's the approximate cost of that?
Get it flagged and, located and on the map and math on the side.
Yes, just,
Yeah, about a grand, maybe. It's just, and the public hearing, it was grand, it's all just adds up. I don't see the point of redoing it, but whatever you guys
well,
do.
you said too, also,
Yeah,
all the features required.
go ahead.
It should be percent of the check. Please.
So would you mind going on mute? We can hear you call.
All of you.
What did I say?
So.
Basically, what he said was, so I would call it delineation if it were in my time.
No,
No, I said I would call it a today.
Significant activity.
I didn't say anything about delineation. I think it's a waste of money, but whatever hoop you put up, I'll jump through.
So it's up to us. Do we want him to redelineate this property? I would lean towards yes, only because that's what we ask everyone to do with an application. The
When it's this
delineation-
many years.
The delineation is 24 years old. I mean, it might come up where there's hardly any wetlands out there, and maybe now we're not even permitting.
I think Kathy's the wetlands enforcement officer.
Matters.
We asked other applicants to do the same.
So if we're okay asking for a new delineation, that's just it's just an extra ask. But it's part of the draft motion.
That maybe the consideration can be used against the bonds in the future. Go ahead.
We could do that too. We could set our own bond for this.
Okay.
So if we're okay, then I guess would you mind reading the draft motion, please?
Okay. Move to determine the application IWC 24-5, 9 Candidate, Van Dyke Lane, Thomas A. Stevens and Associates. Applicant, Bob Anderson, owner. Application for activity within 100 feet of inland wetlands or a watercourse is a significant activity pursuant to the following findings. The project, as proposed, will have a significant impact on wetlands or watercourses as defined under the term significant activity in section 2.20.1 of the written inland wetlands regulation. Delineation and reference a 1999 plan by Arthur Barber.
Oh, I think you're on the wrong.
He says, flip it. A public hearing is required pursuant to section 9 of the Flint Mineral Wetlands Regulations will be scheduled for February 4th, 2025. The applicant shall provide an updated delineation of the inland wetland soils by a certified soil site. The applicant shall provide a wetlands restoration and enhancement plan by a certified soil site. The applicant shall submit detailed plans of plantings for the proposed rain garden. This application shall be reviewed by the town engineer for stormwater management design and proposed rain garden, as well as flood storage capacity and grading on site to determine the extent of any impact to the inland wetlands. 70. All information required by the applicant must be submitted to the land use office no later than January 28th, 2025.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Thomas, seconds. Any discussion on the motion? All those voting in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those are abstaining? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mandel.
Set a date, or?
Yes, it's at our next monthly meeting.
February 4th.
February 4th, and you need everything in by January 28th.
Okay, well, yeah, I'll have to read, well, actually, so the public hearing's open, so I can go and get all the exhibits. So typically, a lot of times.
Public hearing, if somebody shows up to speak and want to know.
Oh, yeah, the oral letter or whatever, but, a lot of times it's clear before the presentation, so. It's either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, either way.
we're not sending this out for engineering review, right?
Well, it's in the motion.
It's in the motion
that's
you
what
just made.
is.
That's not the call.
All right.
If this goes out. to
Because it
engineering review,
has to.
they can want
Yeah.
to drainage.
All right.
house. It could cost $10,000.
It's for the impact of the wetlands, it's for the, for the
20 years ago.
the rain garden, grading.
But if you let him build it, if you don't let him build it, you're gonna have a lot of problems. This right here.
Okay, I think you need your motion now.
All right, so we made a motion. You voted.
Did you like a copy of the proposal? Did you like a
Just no-
copy of the proposal?
I'll get it from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Chuck, remember, consult the
Thank
wetlands
you.
regulations
Thank you,
for the
Chuck.
notices
Yeah.
to the abutters.
I'm sorry, what?
Check consult the regulations for the notices to the abutters opposed to you, the property.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone will be in touch from my office. Kathy, we're still friends?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right, I'll just ask how to have. Hey, have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck.
All right, so go to item 4B, WEL applications, there's just one.
That's an appeal period.
Nothing under enforcement.
Not for inland, I title wetlands enforcement, but nothing for inland.
Okay. Item agenda number 5, correspondence. Any correspondence over the last month that we need to discuss?
No, the only thing would be, in March, the 22nd, there's a virtual Connecticut Bar Association seminar, every other year. Parts of it are, in the wetlands, pertinent to that, and Sherry, did you happen to send the brochure?
No, I didn't because we were waiting with funding.
Maybe have to cover themselves, or figuring that out in terms of what we have left in our budgets. But if you'd like, Sherry can send you the information. It's by attorneys and it's from 9 to 4 on Saturday and it covers wetlands, ZBA, and planning and zoning. Just all the information.
And general information on public hearings and things like that.
Yeah, sounds like a good.
So it's $60, like I said, we don't have a budget to pay for everybody, you can maybe 1 or 2 people. You can, if you want to, you can pay, when you pay, you get a huge booklets like this thick from all the presentations, they give you everything, all the PowerPoints, so you can always use it as a reference.
Yeah, please send me information.
Yeah, so sure, so that's just the only thing I consider correspondence.
Old business, any old business? Yes. New business, I don't have any new business.
We should, except old business, I want to send Ryan and
Oh, new business.
New business.
So Brian, I
send
thank you.
Ryan, thank you for his.
And you mind putting a letter together?
Did he leave?
Yeah,
He's resigned.
He resigned today. So, for chair's comments, so obviously we always like to promote alternate members to full seated members. So we have 3 alternates, talk to your party, if you guys have an interest in being a full seated member, submit it to your party, I guess it goes to town council for
This,
voting.
this is an appointed board,
This is not.
so you guys decide whether to bump one up, and then you make the decision.
You could make a recommendation,
Make a recommendation.
but we don't actually have you don't have the ability to decide. Right.
Goes
The
before
party
town
doesn't have,
council.
the party doesn't have the ability to recommend, it would be the commission would recommend.
I'd like to make a recommendation to appoint, because Bob's been the longest, I'd like to try to get Bob Corson appointed to a full seat.
Do we have to do that by
Is it an RD
motion?
thing or do we?
Well, so that's the,
It's an independent.
it's an unaffiliated seat,
Oh,
which means
okay.
both parties can vote up. In light of what happened last time, I don't really want to make a recommendation from our commission and let town council do it on their own, because it turned out to be an argument.
Yep.
Last time.
Well, I'm going for the next guy that's been on commission for a long time, Robert Corson.
Does that gotta be like by a vote, if we're going to recommend somebody as a
If
commission?
if the commission is doing it, yes.
Okay,
it
so
should be
make
by-
it as a motion.
I make a motion to move Robert Corson to a full seat.
No, to
Make
recommend,
a recommendation.
You said that.
no,
I make a recommendation, I make
Make a
a
recommendation
recommendation to have
to
Bob
town council.
to top. I'll put the right word. I would make a recommendation to the town council to move Robert Corson up to the full seat. To replace Ryan Matthew Torres.
Okay, do I have a second to the motion? Second. Okay, any discussion?
who seconded it?
Tom?
Tom, okay.
Because that's what he said in the email on
Okay,
I
any
don't know who it
discussion?
was.
Okay, can you do roll call?
You want to do a roll call?
Yeah. Just so everyone put this on the.
Okay. Lawrence Edwards,
Yes.
Eddie Alberino,
Yes.
Michael Florio,
Yes.
Thomas Welch,
Yeah.
Bertram Schmitz,
Yes.
Scott Harley,
Yes. Okay, it's unanimous, so we're recommending, to town council, at, if we got into the seat.
I appreciate that. Because the.
We don't know if it's gonna
party
work, we
can't-
did this last time.
Party can't do that, that's what I'm trying to get at, that's, if it's an elected position,
That's
that's what
different.
I was going over.
This is
The
important.
party has to, and only can.
They're appointed.
When it's
But ultimately-
appointed, I can't, as a Republican town chairman, I can't put that forward, the Democrats can't put that forward. There has to be a recommendation from this panel.
But town council.
They can just do it on their own.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that'll get taken up, I assume, at the next town council meeting. Or it needs to be posted for a certain amount of time, right?
I'm
I don't know
not
if we'll have
sure,
a
but
seat.
No,
Yeah,
Like,
vacancy has to not be bumped up, so you can't replace Ryan, I think. It's gonna be, I think it's 30 days.
Okay, so by our next meeting, we still won't have.
Yeah, the
No,
town clerk
that's
said
when you
advised
replace
of
somebody
his
on the
resigned
board,
resignation.
not to bump somebody up.
Oh,
He can be
okay.
bumped, he can be moved up with approval from town council. After that, there's a 30-day waiting period for the next person to
To
take,
go into Ryan's.
Okay,
take into.
okay.
Okay, so by next meeting, we might have an answer.
I don't know.
Are you full seat, however? No, you're not. Okay.
Okay. That's all I had for chair's comments. I appreciate everyone hanging on tonight. So with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I get a second? Second. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Mike, I hope it goes down to 30 tonight. It's
Go
60
there.
higher tonight.
Eddie, let me get,
60 degrees today.
how can I start the record?
Oracle Island.
I don't know what it's circling
I
now.
don't know.
Can you click back over here?
Oh, no. It's colder than that.
What do you-
Yeah.
You're somehow you're in Google. Go click on you,
We got a call.
get back in the meeting, there you go, and then more.
And
Thanks a lot, brother.